Good morning, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And we're going to be talking about, today is Red Tie Monday. We're going to have a short week this week, and we're going to be talking about earnings. This is going to be the earnings watch list for this coming week. It's going to be short and sweet, not very big. And let's pull them earnings up. We'll be watching. I'm going to go over the indices. We also got RIVN, Walmart, IWM, that's an indice, BIDU, OXY, CAG, ETSI, Carvana, ADI, JMIA, TOL, CAG, and SHAK. Well, that's kind of rhythm. So let's get on to it. These are the watch lists this is going to be this coming's calendar. We got BIDU on here. We're going to have OXY on Tuesday, Toll Brothers on Tuesday evening. We got ETSI Wednesday morning. Wingstop Wednesday morning. We got Conagra here on Tuesday morning. Carvana Wednesday evening. Cheesecake Factory Wednesday evening. We got Baba, Walmart, Wayfair, might put Wayfair on there. JMIA, Shake Shack on Thursday morning. Then Thursday evening we got RIVN. I'm going to put Dropbox on here too. And that's it. So it's going to be the kind of watch list we're going to be watching this coming week, and let's get right to it. So I've got these charted up in the 1 year time frame, and we're going to start off with the SPX on the weekly. Let's clean this up. I had a real good trade on this all week long until Friday evening. Kind of messed that last trade of the week up. We did come back and hit the previous high and kind of broke out, almost hit a double top exactly. And we're going to go ahead and put that trend line on there. We had 61.28.18 is going to be the high. And then we've got that previous body of that candle right there on that same candle, which is at 61.21.03. That's the resistance I called last week, and we broke it twice. Then we had kind of a pullback day on Friday. Nice little bounce. I was trading calls most of the day. I think the next support down here is going to be right around, to stay bullish, right around that 61.11.28. And if that doesn't hold, we'll hit this next body down here. That's the 4 hour. Let's get back off this. Clear the drawing set. Let's go to the weekly. That resistance high, I went by the weekly and the yearly. So that weekly resistance last week was 61.01.75, and we broke it, and we almost hit to that 61.28. $18 right in there. And then that next low will be right down here off of 60.60.21 to stay bullish. If we can hold 60.61.21, we'll stay bullish on that week. Let's bring this to the daily. Magnify this up. Yeah, I see the 9 being the weekly support on the 9. Right about in there, right around 60.74.30. So we got a doji that came in on Friday, so it's kind of undecisive what it wants to do. It could pull back a little bit, or it did hold resistance level, which was that previous candle, that original day right there. So we got to put that in there for a double top. If we can break above that and hold that, that means we're going to have a pretty bullish week, and we'll break the double high here at 61.2818. So we'll take it down to the 1 minute. 61.2818 will definitely be the resistance to break if it decides to go ahead and come on up. This thing can pull back right in the morning and have a double bottom down here at 61.08 and still be a great trade to run it back up to the upside. If it doesn't hold that, then we're going to see those lower supports that we saw on the daily and on the weekly. The SPY is next. We'll go to the weekly time frame again on the SPY. We had a triple top up here, and we broke that triple top resistance level of right around 608.07. So the support that it's got to hold this coming week is going to be the 9 or the 21. We've bounced off that 21 3 different times, 4. You know, each one of these are a weekly time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We almost hit it right there. So this thing could easily come down and do a double bottom off this here candle right here, right at 591.83, and still be a very bullish trade and stay in that pattern. If it doesn't hold that, we'll probably just barely touch the 61 or even come down and have a double bottom right there at 575.59. But for right now, we got to look at that 591.83 to be your solid support for a double bottom play. If that doesn't hold, and resistance again will be last week's high at 610.99, 611. So let's take this to the daily. The 21, and still like this double bottom down here if we don't hold this here 591.83. That's going to be your solid support into next week. If we can hold that, we're going to create a Darvas box and go sideways. But it's got to be that 591.83. Now, you do have the 21 right here, and that could be another support level to hold. I mean the 63 at 595.95. So keep a good eye on that this week. We definitely broke a double top last week on the SPY, and that's a good sign. So to stay bullish, we got an inverse head and shoulders right here at 609.17 for solid support with a low, that pre-market low that we had on Friday morning, right at 608.64. And that'll keep the stock bullish and go sideways and be a good little scalp trade. If we break out, it's going to be definitely $610.75 to break that, or this triple top right here. Yeah, it's definitely at $610.75. Somewhere in that area. 610.70 something. If we can break that, I think we'll go ahead and break that 611.15 and move on up to higher levels. That's the SPY. So we got the low support for tomorrow morning to stay bullish if we do decide to pull back. If that thing holds 608.64, we'll definitely go higher. And then we got the QQQ. There's IWM. We got the QQQ here. We'll go to the weekly time frame. The 21 is going to be your support level this coming week. And if we hold the 9, we stay bullish, right around 522. Actually, let's put it on the bottom of this candle right here at 526.13 with resistance to break, which we did almost break that sucker right at 539.15. That's hard to get. That's hard to hit that exact number, but that's going to be your double top break, and we come real close to hitting that. Let's see how close we were on the 1 minute. Oh yeah, I mean that's we break that, we're going to go hit new higher levels, and that'll change the whole thing on the market. For right now, let's go back to that weekly. And that 9's got to hold support. If not, we'll fall back and hit 509. Hit the body of that candle right there. That first one, right around 513.22. Maybe a little bit higher. It's going to come close to that. And that'll be your solid support. If that fails, if things get all shitty, 545. The next one we're going to look at is going to be the IWM. I know a lady that trades this here with the FU Money Club, and name's Milky, and she's really good at this trade. And we have a head and shoulders right now that we're into the top of the next phase of the stock. So we got a shoulder line right here at 225.36. I'm going to lower it just a little bit, so I'm going to clean this up. This is on the weekly. No, that's pretty much right there, right 225.63, 225.68. If that doesn't hold, we could easily drop down and hit this double bottom here on the weekly time frame at 221.48 with another inverse head and shoulders at 218.80, 81, 218.61, somewhere in that area right there, and that's going to be your inverse head and shoulders. We have a little trend line right here of support. And bottom line, 215.75. Maybe 214. Get that right. About 215. 215. 215. I'm going to stick with that one right there. That'll be that double bottom on that candle right there. It could go a little bit lower. Yeah, it might be that set. Let's move that. Around 213.83 for a solid buy for this thing to go back up. We hit the 21 here, 21 here, and almost hit it here. And if things, have a red week, we could hit that 21 again and then go long and run it to the upside and try to hit this shoulder line. So let's go back to the top. These are earning highs. Now this is RIVN. I'm not a big fan of RIVN. I think what the government did, pumping $8 billion into this right in the month of December when it's a shitty company, was just a waste of money. And I'm going to say it again. Joe Biden, you suck. They should have never thrown that money in this company. You got to let them destroy themselves or keep it up. Now, this pump on the EV sector, I did not support. I think we need to let the market decide it on its own and not let the government come in and dictate winners and losers. But that's besides the point. And the fat cats will probably be following this stock because they've got money in it and they think it's going to go higher. They hardly sell any cars at all. But so resistance to break on this stock here is going to be right around 16.56 on the weekly time frame. And if earnings get pathetic, which they probably will be, anything good on this company, Wall Street's going to look at it as positive. So it could be just a little bit good, like an improvement of 5,000 cars in a year. Oh boy, this market's going to run. This is a worthless company until they probably change management. For right now, 973 is support. Resistance to break is 1656. And if that does break, we have an overhead resistance Yeah, see, even the overhead resistance would be hard to break. So it's got to be the 1656. If that happens, we'll go higher maybe if we break it. Maybe even hit 23. Again, I'm not a big fan of this company, and I just want to make myself clear about that. 23.40 area. 20 bucks, I'd say. 20 bucks it might have a hard time, and then if the momentum picks up, 24. That's Rivian. Walmart is a recession stock. So if you listen to CNBC, they're negative about the market. If you listen to Schwab, they're technical traders, and plus they go off of fundamentals. So they got both of the kit in there. CNBC is more of just of a fundamental trader, and they're not very good at calling out trades. You need to know your technicals if you want to be a good chartist, to be a good trader. That's just the way it is. So Walmart definitely had a breakout last week, and we had new highs. This thing could go easily to 110 to 120. It's a recession stock. I do most of my shopping at Walmart, but not when it comes to clothing. They don't have the kind of stuff I like to wear. But when I go shopping for supplies for my business, or I go to buy food, I can get a heck of a discount there compared to my local grocery store. They got a hamburger at $6 a pound. I go to Walmart, and I'll wait until my store has brings it down in price, but I can buy a lot of my other condiments and stuff like that, and vegetables, and a lot cheaper. But mainly I go in there for supplies, and I'll go in there buy coffee and things like that. So low support 95.73 to stay bullish. You want to keep it above the double top, right around that 9. It is a little bit overbought, so we could consolidate a little bit for the next level to move up higher. We had a great run last week. From $3, we've had a great run here in the last month. We've had a great run from the bottom down here. Just been an uphill climb, and it's about time Walmart broke out. So definitely your low support 95.73. We're going to use the 21 as your second support, right around $100, and then your first one no lower than the 9. If we can hold the 9, we'll keep bullish. If not, we'll probably see 101 for a solid buy on Walmart. I really like Walmart right now, but I think it needs to consolidate like it did after this last run right here. Come back a little bit, then have a new breakout. I think the same thing is called stair-stepping, and it needs to have a little bitty pullback and then start to bounce up and double top break. Baidu's had a nice little breakout. I was watching this at 80. I should have bought it. We ran up all the way to $100. Baidu's a good stock to be looking at. Let's clean this up. First support is going to be right here at 94.73 for Baidu. They got earnings coming out, so keep a good eye on it. It looks to me like a good little head and shoulders right here. There's your head. Here's your left shoulder, your right shoulder, your right shoulder, your right shoulder, and your right shoulder. If you can count to 4, you might make a little bit more. She went ahead and broke on out. We got a bunch of big gaps up in here. So here's your gap trade from your support right there to stay bullish at 98.57. 98.67 to the bottom of that gap. We're at 96.55. So if 96.55 holds, we're good, but it could easily pull back and hit that double top break off that shoulder line, and that would be your solid support right around 94.84. Oxy, I'd keep a good eye on Oxy. Drill, baby, drill. We got to break the 63 EMA right around 49.49. If we can break that, we'll easily jump up here to the shoulder line of right around 51.97 with a solid support to stay bullish right around 47.36. We got CAG. Let's go to the weekly. This thing's had a huge pullback. I think this could be an outstanding trade. Definitely an outstanding trade. We got an inside candle. This thing could easily run up and try to break resistance at the 9. And that'll be your hard resistance. If you can break that, this thing will shoot up to 27.28. Very good spot. And then final dropping point right around 29 for a swing trade. And I'd go out a month on this trade here. If I was to trade it, I'd run this thing back up. Definitely, I like this stock right now. Maintains a hold. Lowers price to 28. That's stealthy. We got 28 to 30 bucks. Goldman Sachs adjusts price target to 33. Barclays has it at 32. JP Morgan has it at 29 to 30. This is an easy buy. I mean, I'd keep this one here. I would keep on my watch list. I'd be wanting to trade this next week, this coming week, come Tuesday. Definitely. I'm going to buy it. Let's look at the, let's pull this up here. Pull up the options chain. I like this one a lot. This will probably be my number one trade next week. And that was CAG. See how expensive they are. So we got February the 21st. We'll go March 21 for a swing trade. Oh yeah, I'd definitely buy this stock. There's not too many options on it. So I'd be looking at the $25 strike. Getting about 10 of them, maybe 5 at first, just in case it does pull back and gives you a better price. But I'll definitely be watching this one right here. That'll be March 21st, and even next week. The $26 strike, maybe even the 25 again. But somebody got smart and bought 4,000 contracts. So this thing should be up probably Tuesday morning. And that'd be this coming Friday, the 21st, and do a scalp trade on this. The $26 strike, and get about probably 50 of them. If you can get it at that price, definitely would do it. So we got Etsy. Etsy's another good one here. This looks like a good setup. Really does. We got snake, breakout, pullback, higher low. Resistance to break on it is going to be 62.62. Somewhere in that area right there. Definitely like this stock here. At least to 62.62. And if that 63 breaks, we could probably run this up to the next level of right around $78. We have to really see what's going to happen on earnings here. It hasn't reacted very well here lately to earnings, but if they're up a little bit, I think we could have a nice little breakout past the 63. Then on the yearly, I like this one. We broke the 200 on the yearly daily, so this thing could double top at 61.51. So that'll be your little resistance channel to break. If that goes higher, then we could run this back up to, oh man, I really like this a lot. 65 bucks. Definitely. I like that $65 level too. I'd probably swing this stock. Carvana, this one here, man, this is a runner. Carvana, oh God. I hate to see it like this in the earnings week. I'm thinking we might have a little pullback on this stock to the 9 and bounce off the 9. Let's see what the weekly tells us. The previous high, which was right here, and we'll put that price line in. If we can hold 265.62, this thing will stay bullish. If not, we'll hit the 9 and be a strong buy. But I think it's overbought. I really do. But you never know. Used cars have took advantage of COVID. They broke out way high. The markups on them was like 35-40%. You got a government pumping electric cars. People can't afford them damn electric cars. Most people I know that don't have money don't even have a garage. So how are they going to get it? How are they going to do it? You got to have at least a garage if you're going to have an electric car. Period. And that already swipes out probably 60% of our city. So yeah, Carvana, used cars just took off like a rocket. They should have put some kind of regulations in there because these cars that are selling at used car lots are not worth it. So Carvana, 265.62 is support. Resistance to break will be the all-time high there at 286.38. I think this thing could pull back a little bit, but you never can tell. I mean, this has had one heck of a run. It's up 500, 600%, 700%. Yeah, it's up 700% in a year. So it's up too much. It's an ungodly amount. I think it'll pull back and find a better buy on it. That's Carvana. That's just my opinion. ADI, here you got analog devices. We've had 3 white soldiers, so we could easily consolidate. We got to break that 200 EMA and the 63 EMA, which is a hard resistance. This thing could easily pull back, maybe find your first support in that gap right there at 212.71, and if not, we'll double bottom off the 21 on the weekly, 21 EMA. That's on the daily. Let's look at the weekly and see what it tells us. The weekly says we got to break the 21, right around 217, and then hold support off that 63 to stay bullish. And that was at 211. If not, we could double, triple, quad bottom down here at 205 and be a strong buy to run this thing back up. We do have a fallen wedge or a descending triangle right here, which is bearish, and that overhead resistance on this triangle, if it does decide to break out, will be a much higher price, right around 228. So this could bounce easily, hold support at 205 if it does pull back a little bit, but we had them soldiers on the daily, so that's a bullish indicator, and we could easily pull back to the bottom of that third soldier, 1, 2, 3, with a big gap. At 209.04. So resistance to break will be the 200 and the 63 and run it up to 216. And if that doesn't hold, we'll pull back and find a solid buy at 211. And if that doesn't hold, the gap fill at 209. We got JMIA. Now this one here is another hard one to watch. It can have a good run. I think this is a stock, if it has any kind of good earnings, it could go ahead and break out. But we got to break out past the 63 on this one here on the daily, and then on the weekly. This is the African Baba or Amazon. It looks like a halfway decent setup, where we could run up and find some resistance at 501 and then long right around $6. And then support definitely off this triple bottom at 368 to stay bullish. They could pull back and bounce right off that 368 and then run up and find resistance at $5 and at $6. That's JMIA. Toll Brothers is, to me, is a controversial one right now with the high interest rates. It took a little too long. Again, it took a little too long for it to decide to pull back, and finally the market got fed up with it. Looks to me like it had decent earnings. About the same as last time. About the same as the time before. About the same as the time before. A little above the time before that. But we had 3 black crows and we're consolidating off that bottom support level at the 63. So that's going to be our resistance to break, is going to be that 63 at 125. If we can gain respect at 125, we can double top up here at 137 and find a pivot point right at 131.06. If that doesn't hold, we're in for some more drama. Inverse head and shoulders at 112, and that'll be a strong hold. Maybe go a little bit lower. Interest rates are way too damn high for this stock to have a run like it's had. But people's been making good money in Wall Street and buying homes, buying property. I just don't think it's the right time to be doing it right now, unless you see a real good deal out there. We got Cake. Cake's another one here. Chesapeake Cake Factory. Cheesecake, Cheesecake. Chesapeake. Bar. 5087 is your solid support. This is the weekly time frame. If that doesn't hold, we could hit 48 and be a strong buy, with resistance to break this coming week at 54.38. The last one, SHAK. Here's another one that's had a nice little pullback to the 63. This could be an interesting trade this coming week. If earnings are halfway decent, we could consolidate and the upgrades will come in and run this back up to 117.63 with solid support to hold. If we can hold 109.19, right now we're at 108.40, and then your solid buy down here at 102. If it gets a little bit shook out and dips to that, I'd buy it and run it back up. I like this one here right now, but we don't have a Shake Shack around here. So it depends on you. I don't eat out much. I more or less got on a real strict diet. I've lost 30 pounds. I've been eating more or less meat mostly and cut out every bit of carb that I can take in. I think 103 is going to be your solid support. And that's it for the earnings watch list. I hope that made a lot of sense. The CAG was one of my favorites. I liked Etsy. I think last week's earnings were pretty good. 70% of the earnings that came out last week were good. And I think that was good. I think all the earnings have been halfway decent, but we've got a new president, and the market's a little concerned to hear tariff talk every single minute and how bad our things could happen. And I don't think CNBC's all that bright. They're biased in their trading. Schwab are probably got the twice as good think tank on their team. I really like how Schwab does her due diligence. And that's about it. I wish everybody a great week. This is Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy. Have a great day and follow my charting. I'm live on YouTube. You know, I've got a X account here. You can follow me on my X account under Washboardjim/Retail Traders. I have a link down below that you can also copy, and I have one on Stock Twits. But I'm live every day. If you're new to trading and want to learn how to chart, I'm charting all day long. Been doing it for over 20 years, and I've been live on YouTube for the past 3 every day. Have a great day, retail traders. Again, this is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now.